Alright guys, what is up? We are back in Prague. Just had a long trip back from Germany, hit up 3 cities in one day in about like 36 hours. Nuremberg, Stuttgart, and then Munich, and got back at like 3 a.m. But we're meeting up with a Czech patriot, but he's been a figure, I guess, in the Czech nationalist scene for a while, so he should have some interesting things and interesting perspectives to say about the country of Czechia. So let's go meet up with him now. All right guys, so we just met up with these 2 Czech patriots right here. How do I say your name?
My name is Filip, F-I-L, not P-H, but F-I-L. And this is Jan. It's like John.
Jan.
Czech version.
J-A-N.
Oh.
J-A-N.
Czech version of John, basically.
okay, I got it. All right, so for the audience, I assume a lot of them won't know who you guys are, but kind of tell me a little bit, introduce yourselves a little bit.
Okay, so I am 47, and since 1991, I'm part of the nationalist movement in this country.
Yeah.
I believe I am one of the longest serving activists in this country. I am from Prague. I always lived here. This is my city, and I went through, it's a long time, so I went through many organizations or, let's say, activities. And right now, what used to be extreme in this country 30 years ago, it's now part of the mainstream. So actually we had elections this weekend.
Yeah.
And basically a party that follows ideas that I follow, they will be probably part of the government. And very probably some nationalist guy will be running something like the Homeland Security Department. So actually our people will be in charge of crime and dealing with crime, which is a good thing, because I saw that you met that astronaut guy in the city center. So it's very probably that these guys will be finally deported from Prague. I really hope so. It's very possible.
Also, the elections went well.
Elections were really good. It could be better, but Nationalist Party will be part of the government. They will form coalition with other 2 parties, and they will be given some positions in the government.
Oh, nice.
Which is, of course, very good. And that's actually very first time since 1990s. It's the first time when nationalists got to the government. So
since 1990s?
Since 1990s. It was never like that. Never before. We had, of course, other political parties. They were always the opposition. And this is the very first time when nationalists were elected and they will be part of the government, which is great, of course.
Why do you think that happened?
Because 30 years ago when I started, people had no experience with migration or stuff, so we were predicting things, but people were saying, you are liars, you are making it up.
Yeah.
But they could see now, for many years already, how the Western Europe looks like.
Yeah.
So it's no longer just predictions or some, scaring of people off, but they can see on the internet, what's going on in like Western Europe. They don't want it here. So the tide is moving, the Overton window is moving to the right very much. So I believe it's the access, to news from the West. Thanks to Twitter, X, or whatever media, we can see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's no longer just mainstream media giving us what they want to give us. So we can really see on social media what's really going on. And that, of course, influences people. They are afraid that something like that can come here, so they don't want it, of course.
Would you say it's like more younger people? Is it older people, or is it a mix of both?
It's everyone. I would say this. It's probably mostly young people and old people. Not much, for some reason, like a middle-aged people. I don't know why. But there are many young people who are very much, on the right side of politics.
Okay.
So yeah.
Why did you start? You said you've been doing this since what year?
1991.
1991, yeah. So what got you into it at the start?
So that time it was, it was a skinhead movement, and that time it was a fashion.
Yeah.
It came here, let's say, 10 years after it was in England.
Yeah.
Because until 1990 we had communism here.
Yeah.
We had closed borders, no freedom, and when communism ended, everybody wanted to try everything, in a good way, bad way. And somehow this became really a movement. There were like some musical bands that were really popular, that attracted, attention of young people.
Oh, like the metal bands?
Something. Let's call it like a skinhead music.
Okay.
Oi, oi.
Yeah.
And the one band, they The first album they released, they sold in this little country of 10 million people, they sold over 100,000 copies.
Oh wow.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
for a small country. So in early 90s, this movement was huge. Every other boy, even some girls, were part of it. It was a big fashion, really. And so that time it was like, of course, I believed those things because it, appealed to me. It was good, like nationalism, anti-communism, and something like that. But then, it was no longer fashion anymore as I was getting older.
Yeah.
Because when you get involved into this, you have enemies, you have to deal with them. You think about what you believe in, you have to defend it.
Yeah.
Then you study, those things, and either you get deeper or you leave it. And I got deeper. So that's it.
What has been the evolution, I guess? You said you've went through multiple groups, multiple organizations.
So this is, in the US or any other country, these countries have long history of some movements like that.
Yeah.
So young people could actually ask older guys about some advice or something.
Yeah.
But here we started from zero. It was people that were teenagers and there was nothing before.
Yeah.
So there was nothing to learn from. We had to learn everything from the very start, very beginning. So in the beginning it was really more like a movement, like a subculture.
Yeah.
And slowly through education, we got more educated about this, and we wanted to, let's say, do something more serious. So first organization showed up, we tried to involve in politics, and so on and so on. So the evolution was like this, from like a subculture to real politics, but of course we had opposition, even the state was the opposition. There was a time, today it's really okay, today it's really easy, but 20 years ago, government or the state really tried to suppress everything. Many people ended up in prison. In this country, unlike US, we cannot speak freely about what we believe in. We have many laws that really limit your freedom of speech, so you must be very careful. But when you are in this for a long time, you learn how to stay on the edge and not cross it. So that's kind of evolution. But like I said, what used to be extreme 20 years ago is now part of the mainstream, and the nationalist parties will be part of the government. So I think right now it's really good.
You were telling me you're obviously a little younger than him.
Yeah.
What are the, I guess, differences between his generation and yours?
In his generation, he was beginning in the 90s. So in the 90s, it was wild time because it was after the fall of communism.
Yeah.
So people felt huge euphoria after the fall. They were thinking that now it's time, that we will choose which way we want to go.
Yeah.
And those guys, they wanted to go through patriotism, they want to keep our country Czech, they want to keep Europe for Europeans, things like that. So they were against mass immigration back then, but the ideas...
There were a lot of more fights back then, a lot of more.
Exactly, because also on the left side, there was the second group, that they want quite the opposite, They wanted the Europe for everybody, they wanted some leftist ideas.
Basically
Antifa, anarchist, communists, So those guys were fighting each other a lot.
Yeah.
So when my time came, when I was 15, when I was 15, around 2009, 2010, that was a different time because those guys were old, all of them, or many of them were, out of the game. Maybe still they've got their ideas, but they were not going to some demonstrations or things like that. And the next generation was different. They were wearing different clothes because nobody want to look like skinhead anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
Also people are reading a lot more books, so it was a lot more intellectual, I would say. And it was mixed a little bit because back then, all of them were pretty much the same. Skinheads, some basic ideas, but after that, somebody was calling himself nationalist, patriot, something like that. Even people who are calling themselves, let's say, national socialists. It was like a mixture, but everybody's got the same main points, Everybody was cheering for the same thing, so that held the groups together, I would say it like that.
Okay, so would you say, I guess the main thing is just seeing the Western European countries, like seeing what's happened to them?
Yes, that was a big influence for sure, because if you will go to Western Europe today, let's say Paris or some cities in Germany, for sure you will see a big difference between Prague, or Poland, for example, and cities in Germany or France.
Yeah.
So when we saw that, we were like, oh, it's really happening, We were thinking that things like that can happen. Many people were saying, oh, that it's nonsense, that mass immigration or illegal immigration won't be a trouble,
Yeah.
But now you can see the cities are very dangerous, very dirty, and we don't like that. We want to keep our city safe for everybody, you know, and we want Europe for Europeans, basically, nothing bad about it, you know.
What about has there been any issues like legal troubles from you guys, I guess,
Absolutely.
talking about these things?
Yeah, for sure.
I was, you know, I was charged. I don't know how many times, and I was standing in front of the court. So,
Yeah.
so you can be charged and discharged, or you can be going to the court.
Yeah.
So I was sentenced to something 4 times. Never to prison, fortunately. There was always okay. It looks like it's
Go
close.
back.
It was always like a conditional sentence.
Yeah.
But still, you know, it's something that, you know, bigger problem was for me. I was like fired from the job 6 times in my life.
6 times?
6 times.
Wow.
Because I was pretty, I think I still am pretty well known.
Yeah.
So if there was some demonstration or some public event, I was usually the guy in front talking to media or whatever.
Yeah.
So of course I was target of many troubles you can imagine. Legal troubles like, you know, no job, of course like physical attacks.
Yeah.
Fortunately I never, you know, was a victim of something serious because I'm a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I know how I can handle myself. But still, you know, it was 34 years of troubles. And I just hope that now, finally, after 34 years of struggle, we will have some better days. That's what I really hope for.
So would you say it's moving a lot in the right direction? Like you said,
Absolutely. The mood is, you know, like the opposition is still here.
Yeah.
But I can feel they are losing slowly. And that really the tide is moving to the right. And right now, like I told you, the government is really going to very much to the right. They will deal with migration, maybe not exactly as we wish, but at least there will be something going on. So it's definitely much better now.
And when you were talking about troubles with police, for example, the change, we can feel it even in that, because it's like 10 years ago, a little bit more maybe, there was a guy and he was charged for a quote that he was saying that there's a wave of immigration that is going to Europe, and he was charged, you know, and he was even punished for that. Today, all of the politicians are saying that, you know.
Yeah.
Even politicians from the government are saying that there's a huge wave of illegal immigration to Europe. It's dangerous, you know, and it's completely normal.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, you can be charged only for that, you know.
That's right. Like I had one case that lasted 10 years. Somehow it took them so long.
Yeah.
And it was for things that today are absolutely legal.
Yeah.
Today, those things that we were talking about, it's really part of the mainstream. That political party that will be part of the government, in their election campaign, they had big posters in the city with like an African man with knife. And there was like we don't want surgeons from Africa or something like that.
That's
So
funny.
something that was like crazy, you know, 15, 20 years ago. Okay, it's still not absolutely accepted.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not us who is doing it. It's mainstream political parties doing it.
Yeah.
So that's the change. That's the movement. You know.
Okay. I wanted to ask about, I guess, the EU and how that relationship is with, I guess, the Czech Republic, because I know they're putting a lot of pressure on like Poland to accept immigrants. And do you think that's going to cause issues for?
Well, you know, in EU, everything depends who is in charge.
Yeah.
So if right-wing parties will be in charge, EU will not will be doing this. If like left-wing parties will be in charge, EU will be doing it. So I think that EU is a good idea. Europeans should stick together, but preserving their nations, of course.
Yeah.
And I really like that we don't need to show passport on every border.
Yeah.
And there is economic cooperation. But right now, EU is the left, cosmopolitan people, and they really want to push, you know, for open Europe for everyone. So now it's bad, but if more and more right-wing parties will be elected, it can be actually a good thing. So I would preserve EU, but you know, reform it. So, but right now I don't really know. You know, our leaders, there is it's called like a migration pact or something that basically dictates how states in Europe should be dealing with migration. They claim that it's actually a good solution how to prevent illegal migrants to come. But in fact, you know, it will only create system how to get more of them here, and states will have to accept them. So the current government we will have, the one that just won, they all will be against this. So probably there will be some clash, something like Hungary is having
Oh, yeah.
or Poland is having.
Yeah.
So I hope same thing will be from our side, that we will really reject this. So there will be maybe, I don't want to predict anything, but maybe there will be some new coalition of states in Europe that will kind of stick together in this matter. And of course, Western Europe will be trying to push their agenda on us. We will be resisting. Who knows what will happen, But right now, our current leadership is absolutely against migration to this country. So
Do you ever get, do you ever get to a point where you feel like there's not really hope, like seeing these Western European countries get destroyed? Because, once it comes there, won't it be a lot harder to resist?
That's right. So I think that some countries are already beyond, sort of like being safe. Like UK, I think UK is done. You can go this way.
Okay.
And UK is done. Germany, maybe it's on the way to be done. France is probably gone. But we still have chance. We don't have those numbers. We don't have millions of foreigners that will be here, and we will have to deal with them. So this is not a problem for us yet. And actually, I feel hope right now, because in spite of not having big numbers, we have a government that wants to stop even some numbers coming. So some countries in Europe are beyond any hope. UK for sure, and countries more in the center or east, they still have big hope actually. So maybe there will be some division in Europe one day, and we will divide, on like a progressive West and traditional East or Center. I don't know. I think right now it's okay in this country. So.
Do you think things have been I know you said they're moving fast right now, and I've talked to some people who have been, I guess, in the space for a while. They said things are moving very rapidly right now.
Yes.
So what kind of has to happen? What are, the next steps that the, average person can do, or what should happen?
So, what should happen? No big things must happen actually, because if it will, let's say, if the current government will implement some things, that will be enough. Simply if we implement steps that will prevent immigrants to come, we don't need to do much, really.
But what about the birth rates? Because all of the European countries.
That's a problem. So like in Hungary, they gave some some benefits to mothers who have more children, but I think it's not working really.
Yeah.
So this is something that we do, or I do all my life, that I'm trying to talk about things in a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So having children, of course, it's part of it. Having many children, it's not just one thing. It's not just about having children. It's about education. But absolutely, you are right. We need numbers. And that's a long-term thing. So I don't know. It's a big issue. I'm not now hopeless. I used to be hopeless in the past. It looked really bad. But now somehow, it's really moving in society. People are really taking our side for some reason. Like I said, maybe it's that example of the West. And but the problem of birth rate is everywhere. It's not just us. It's, I think, all world. I think it's an economical thing. Better your life is, less children you have. It's almost like this, Unless you are deeply religious and you have children because your faith dictates that or something like that. But I think all countries that are economically better off have less children somehow. It's like some human nature or something like that. Because, my grandparents, they came from multiple children families.
Yeah.
Because at that time, of course, we were not the richest country. But now, with, let's say, better economic situation, 2 children is almost like a maximum for most people. I am from like a one-child family. I'm the only one, and that's like a norm. That's normal in this country. So I think it's about economy. Maybe if we will have like a worse times, people will have more children because they will feel that more children will give them chance of some survival or something. But I think that's not something that we can, solve. It's a big picture that is happening all over, even in China. China looks really big, but they don't have that many children actually as well.
So you said there's not been immigrants here for that long, but you said the Vietnamese have been here since the 80s, right?
Since at least 80s, maybe 70s, and the reason is that we used to be communist country. They are still communist country. We helped them even during the Vietnam War, and many Vietnamese came here to either rehabilitate in the hospitals or work in factories to learn some trade, have some education. So they were here since 80s in big numbers, and when communism in this country ended, they decided they will not be going back to their socialist paradise, but they will stay here, and since mainly early 90s they are here. So their numbers are not that big, but they are very visible because of course they are different, and they completely captured some like industries like grocery stores. So every little grocery store is in their hands. If you go to any single grocery store in the city, it's a Vietnamese guys, inside. So they are here for, let's say, 40 years, and we have even, like our country has at the moment, some cooperation, like a visa cooperation with Vietnam. So Vietnamese they are the most visible foreign group in this country, like no one else.
They own a lot of the weed shops, right? The fake weed shops.
Yeah, they do. They like all those little shops in the city with food, drinks, whatever. That's them. And they used to be biggest producers and sellers of or cannabis or marijuana.
Yeah.
Right now they are moving more to some harder drugs because cannabis will be probably legalized. So they are heavily involved in, like a illegal drug market. Besides other things.
I've heard there's also, I guess, a decent problem of like prostitution, things like that. Is that a thing?
You mean with Vietnamese?
No, just in general in Prague.
No, I don't think there is a problem. We don't have any, red light districts in Prague. There are just few streets where you can meet women like that. But I wouldn't say that is a problem.
Okay.
I think prostitution. They call it the oldest job in the world or something like that.
Yeah.
So it will always be here, but I don't think it's a problem or something visible, in the city. Prague is generally very safe, even at night. The only bad thing is those African drug dealers who sell openly drugs in the city and nobody's doing anything about it. But he will not be probably attacked or something like that, robbed or something. So prostitution, I wouldn't call it a problem.
Okay. And what, the Africans don't get in trouble for selling drugs?
No, there are no troubles for them.
Why?
Nobody, I don't know, like police is not really care about them. You never see police, jumping on them or something. We have to take a picture.
So what is something you guys want to leave, I guess, the younger Czech people with? What do you want to tell them?
So, okay, it's actually a good question that I never thought about. So they have, I think they have it's not that hard for them right now because those hardships are gone. They will probably never face big legal problems anymore, but they may face physical problems. And so young people shouldn't be focused only on education, but on physical training as well. So I believe that the ideal activist should combine education and physical preparation. That's what they have to think about, because we can see in the West, lone white boys are very often ambushed, and they must defend themselves. So educate yourself, work on yourself, with books, and work on yourself physically. Do this, and you will be fine. And socialize with fellow activists, create communities, be together, because you can help each other. So work on yourself and work on your community, grow your community, influence other people. That's what I will tell them.
Okay.
I would say pretty much the same. I would say be clever, be strong, think about the future, and be a good person. That's important.
Yeah,
That's right.
well said. All right, if anybody wants to find either on you on social medias, where can they find you?
So I can be easily found on many social medias. My nickname is Středoevropan, which means middle European, let's say something like that, Central European. And you can find me under this nick on Twitter, on X, on TikTok. And you can find me, I'm well known, so people can find my name almost on any social media. So it's easy. And I don't know if he wants to be found like that, but I can be found very easily, so no problem.
Yeah? All right, well, thank you guys for joining me. This has been a pretty fun vlog. Thanks everyone for watching. There might be one more vlog here in Prague. Maybe not. The next country is still to be determined, and see you all next time.